Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the blessed one, the worthy one, the fully enlightened one. Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our second session of the Metta Sutta reading. Well, yesterday we briefly talked about the structure of the Metta Sutta. We also talked about the 11 advantages of practicing metta. Okay, so the first three are to do with sleep, and I hope that everybody slept well last night and got up on the right side of the bed, not on the wrong side of the bed. And did anyone have any dreams last night? No? At least not bad dreams. Okay. And after practicing just for a couple of sessions, does anyone feel that, that metta has helped you to feel better among people? Yes? That's good. Oh, because you have been practicing metta for some time with Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi. So just a little bit of boost can help you to feel it. Because yesterday she was asking me, why does she sometimes feel metta when practicing, but why not at other times? And I said that it's because the practice is not solid enough. When the condition is right, for example, when we get guided meditation, and with the atmosphere properly created, then you can feel that metta naturally arise within you. But if the conditions are slightly not there, then we might feel nothing when we practice. So what we do is just to keep going, do not give up. And we are going to explain more about not giving up. Okay, so there are other advantages of practicing metta, and we also introduced the structure of the Metta Sutta itself. 4 parts for 10 verses. So starting with sila, which is virtue, ethical foundation, and then samadhi and panya, eventually culminating in nibbana. Okay, so this is just a quick recap. Sila, samadhi, panya. That's the manual of how we practice from cultivating virtue, which is a very, very important foundation in order to practice samadhi. Without sila, it is quite impossible, because your mind is not soft and gentle enough to really concentrate for such a long time in order to attain samadhi. You will feel impatient. You will feel frustrated when you are not getting anywhere. But the cultivation of sila precisely helps us to kind of prevent that impatience, get rid of the impatience, the habit of getting frustrated and impatient as something repetitively occurring. So we need to really pay attention to the foundation, really spend time and cultivate our patience. Okay, so now yesterday we were on this slide, the essential ethical foundation, and we talked about the first part of the verse, starting in order to eventually reach the culmination of Nibbana, we need to first of all take the right bearing. We need to set the right direction. We need to know what is truly beneficial. What is truly beneficial? That is atta. And then kusalena is skilled, being skilled in what is truly beneficial. We first of all need to identify what is truly beneficial throughout our rebirth, cycle of rebirth in samsara. Now, some people may feel that they want to make a big fortune in their lifetime. They want to run a very successful business in this lifetime. But all of these things are terminating just within the end of this life. But what about, within in cycles of rebirth within samsara? At the end of the day, what do we really find that is most truly beneficial? That is the peaceful state of Nibbana, Santang Padang. So we really need to identify what is truly beneficial in order to get there, instead of just setting a temporary goal of this lifetime. We need to know what our ultimate goal is. So that is the meaning of the first half of the verse. And then we ran through the 14 what is to be done, what is ought to be done, and what is not to be done. Okay, so just to quickly recap, the 14 virtues listed in this sutta is Sakko, capable, Uju, upright, Suhuju, thoroughly upright, Suwacho, amenable to correction, Modu, gentle, Anatimani, without conceit, Santasakko, contented, Suparo, easy to support, Apakicho, of few duties, Salahuka Utti, a frugal way of living, Santindriyo, peaceful faculties, Nipako, judicious, wise, Apagabo, courteous, not impudent, not forward, Kulesu Ananukito, not greedily attached to families. Okay, you will find that quite a few of these seem to be related to the monastic living. But with a little bit of adaptation, lay people can still practice this. Okay, and then the fifth one is a akaraniya, which is do not do something. What is not to be done? That is, avoid doing even the slightest wrong that wise people would criticize. Nachakudammachoyore kinchi, yena vinu ware upawateyun. Okay. Now this one, someone asked me about this. Doesn't that seem a little bit too harsh? What do you think, guys? In our practice, in order to reach Nibbana, as we practice more and more, we actually will naturally tighten the standard. We will notice the things that we didn't notice before, the shortcomings that we didn't consider as shortcomings, the defilements that we never even noticed that we have before. That is because our mind has become purer and purer. So this is not to be a standard for real beginners, but actually, if we start to really want to set our mind, take the bearing, really set our mind, set our intent on reaching Nibbana, attaining Nibbana one day, we ought to be self-disciplined. But that doesn't mean we need to be kind of beating ourselves when we make mistakes, when we cannot practice, when we cannot cultivate perfect virtue just yet. It will fall into the right place gradually, little by little. So by saying avoid doing, avoid doing even the slightest wrong that wise people would criticize, it doesn't mean that you have to completely become a perfect person immediately. It doesn't mean you cannot make mistakes. It just means it is the standard that we aspire to. Eventually, when our mind becomes purer and purer, we don't even need the wise ones to criticize us. We ourselves will be the judge, whether I've done something wrong or not. Immediately, I would know. Okay? For example, when we start to practice metta bhavana, with more and more practice, we will start to be concerned about the way we speak to other people, whether our words would be harmful to them, whether our words would upset them. Because you know fully well when these words are spoken to you, they would hurt us. So when we speak the same words to other people, they would hurt others as well. So we naturally become our own judge as our practice deepens. Okay? So today we are going to go into more detail about explaining all these 14 virtues. But before doing that, so we are going to go to this slide. But before doing that, we are going to share with you the story, the background story of why the Buddha spoke this discourse, why the Buddha taught metta bhavana. Has anybody heard of this story before? Okay, good. No one. Okay. So, well, it was a time when the rainy season was coming. You know, during the rain season, there is wasa, yeah? So 500 monks came to see the Buddha in order to receive the kammatthana, the meditation subjects. So the Buddha taught them, and then they received the instructions and they happily went away. So they went to search for a place somewhere far in the mountain of Himalaya. So they eventually found a place that looks really good and suitable for their meditation. And they also, in the nearby area, found some villages where they could go on alms round and get their requisites. And the villagers were very welcoming because hardly would any monastics go over to do their practice there. So they were very faithful. They prepared them huts. They prepared them all the requisites that they needed. So they decided to stay. But when they started to stay, in the evening, there were some strange sounds, noises, and even forms. And these were created by the tree deities who were already living there before the monks came. So these tree deities felt that their dwelling were occupied by some other intruders, and they were really upset. They started to talk to each other, and they decided to manifest very scary forms to frighten them away. So they would upset these monks by showing really horrifying forms and making strange sounds, making them really, really uneasy, and even giving forth bad orders that would give them headaches, so they couldn't concentrate on their meditation subjects. So they decided, because of all these problems, they decided to go back to the Buddha. They wanted the Buddha to find them a better place to meditate. Because of all these problems, they couldn't stay in such a beautiful place. What a pity. But the Buddha told them, monks, I will now speak to you a discourse on Metta Bhavana. And you should go back to the very same place where you just left. They first of all asked the Buddha to find them a nicer place. And the Buddha used his divine eye and searched high and low, far and near. But every time when he searched, his divine eye would take him back to this very same place. So the Buddha told them, this is the right place for you. Go back to this place and practice Metta Bhavana as I will speak to you. Loving kindness without boundaries, without enmity. May all beings be well and happy, just as a mother would protect her only child with her own life. All those things that we read yesterday, which we will be reading again later. Okay, so the monks went away with this Metta Sutta and then just did as instructed. They prayed, they sent blessings to those three deities, to those seen or unseen beings, and the three deities were very happy. They all of a sudden felt affectionate for these monks. And then they provided, the commentary said, they even provided the water to wash their feet for them. And they made sure that all the conditions were right for the monks to practice. So by the end of the Vassa, all the monks attained arahantship. So they were very, very happy. They were so happy, and they even just came down to thank them. So they attained arahantship. So this is the background story of the Metta Sutta. So that is why just now we said some of these do's, these karaniyas, what is all to be done, are so very close, so very relevant to monastic life. It is because the Buddha told these monks, these are what to be done, what is all to be done if you want to attain Nibbana before you practice metta. And you also need to avoid this. That is why all these things, quite a few of these seem directly related to monastic life. Okay? Now, let's go into further detail about these. Just now, we only had a very brief glance of these virtues, and we can actually categorize these virtues into different dimensions. For example, the first verse, the goal and core qualities that one should cultivate. First of all, still the intent, atakusalo or kusala, is just different cases. Okay, one skilled in what is truly beneficial, and one needs to aspire to the peaceful state, santampadang abhisamecha. One needs to seek the highest good, the peaceful state of Nibbana, not just pursuing the mundane things. But of course, this is a discourse spoken to the monks. So there is actually no real need to dissuade them from pursuing worldly pursuits. So the Buddha here is just reinforcing to them the importance of seeking the highest good. And the qualities for practice, one should be capable, competent, diligent, that is sakko. We will talk more about this sakko later. One should also be upright in word and deed, this uju, and perfectly upright in word, deed, and mind throughout life. So you can see that uju and suhuju, there is uju here in both words. So one is upright, the other is perfectly upright, not only in word and deed, but also mind. Remember on the first day when we were introducing the lecturers, they said something. She said, sometimes we may say something, but we don't really mean it, right? So we may say something in word, we may do something, we may act really kindly to somebody, but in fact, it is just out of courtesy. We don't really feel that way. So that outwardness, you can appear upright. Outwardly, you can appear upright, but inwardly, inside your mind, you actually think otherwise. So Uju is actually without conceit, but without deceit. But without deceit, well, you need to make sure that both your mind and your deeds and your word actually are aligned well. So you don't do what you don't mean. You don't say what you don't think. Okay? And through our life, Suhuju. So with this Su, this Hu is just this H sound is just for euphonic reason. The prefix Su, Su means well. Like Susila means good virtue. Yeah? And Suacho, later we will see the word Suacho. So through our life, very well, thoroughly Uju, perfectly upright, perfectly Uju, perfectly upright, and also throughout, thoroughly, throughout one's lifetime. That is Suhuju. So develop the strength to walk the path steadily and honestly. And next one, social and emotional qualities. One needs to be amenable to advice. That is Suwacho. See another Su. Watch. VAC, watch, means speak. Okay, so well speak, but actually that means amenable to advice. For example, sometimes when someone wants to give us advice, the very first reaction, if that wasn't delivered very well, the very first reaction of a normal person is defend, refute, right? We hardly would take kindly other suggestions unless it is very, very well delivered, sometimes even wrapped up in a lot of sugar coating words, right? But for a monastic, we need to feel, and actually it is very adoptable by lay people as well. For monastics, we need to feel grateful that other people even take the time and effort to speak to you on your wrongdoing. I remember my master once said to me, if someone is not directly under his guidance, like taking Nisaya with him, he would hardly speak anything about, trying to help that person to get rid of their defilements. He said, who wants to offend other people? Because that is a very, very first reaction that one is most likely to have, feeling offended. Yeah. So for a monastic, one needs to be really gentle and also grateful and also soft in our attitude, grateful for other people who want to correct our misconduct, even the slightest wrong. Okay. And then next one, gentle, kind, and approachable, mudu. It is very important. And anatimani, free from conceit, not superior. Anatimani, that is so very important. Even if one has very high achievements, even if one is very capable and very talented, the more humble that person is, the softer, the more gentle that person is, the more likable that person is. Do you agree? We hardly like someone who is so arrogant, always boasting about oneself, like always selling oneself, right? So that is a very precious quality to develop, gentle, kind, and approachable. Think of a monastic, a monk or a nun, a practitioner, who has achieved somewhere in samadhi or vipassana, but then becomes very arrogant. what is that arrogance going to do for their path, for their practice? It's going to destroy them, right? Because that is another defilement. That derives from self-view. You feel arrogant because you feel, I am very good. I am above other people. I'm superior to other people. And that self-view is precisely what we want to get rid of. By having achieved something and feeling proud of it and get arrogant because of that, that is kind of, having gained something, but you lost another precious thing, precious quality of being humble. So that is kind of self-defeating. That is why we need to be gentle, kind, approachable so that people can, not just your superiors, but also your peers can feel okay to tell you about some things, about things that you might have overlooked. And also your superiors would feel okay to tell you the same thing, and free from conceit, not being superior to other people. So cultivate qualities that build harmony and ease with others. But of course, these also benefit ourselves. Okay. So these qualities support the training and lead towards the peaceful state. Look at this word, support the training. Yesterday, we talked about the analogy of gardening. In order to consolidate our practice of metta bhavana, to feel loving kindness every time we sit on the cushion, one needs to cultivate the ground. The gardening analogy, remember? We need to prepare the soil. This is exactly all those, the effort to prepare the soil, prepare our mind. Okay, so next bit is the way of life of a practitioner. That's verse 2. Simplicity. One needs to be contented with little, santasakol, because monastics rely on the generosity of donors. So that is actually a deliberate precept, a deliberate arrangement stipulated by the Buddha. Because if one can continue to make living by use of their own worldly skills, let's say before I became a nun, I could make my own living. And if I continue to do that when I become a nun, then I will not be able to concentrate on my practice. And because I have my own freedom in terms of economy, I can go about buying whatever I need or whatever I like. And sometimes a lot of times that can distract us from the real, what is the core in the practice. So that is why the Buddha wants all the monastics to rely only on donations. And also one needs to be contented, easily supported, even with just very little. The commentary even tells us, as monastics, we should feel grateful whether the dana is given with or without respect, whether it is good or bad, good quality or bad quality. We shouldn't distinguish that. So that is why there is actually a rule that if you go on alms round in villages, you shouldn't distinguish, oh, this is a wealthy family, so I always go to that family to beg for food because they are always going to give me nice things, and just skip all those poor families. Because we partly want to cultivate our quality of contented with little santusako, but at the same time, we also want to give the chance for the poor people to cultivate their punya. Punya, you know the word? Yeah? The good karma. And so that is very important for a monastic. But even for lay people, being contented with little or what is sufficient is also practical. It is also beneficial for the practice on the path and easy to support, not burdensome to others. So one can't say that, oh, I'm not satisfied with my very simple hut. Build me a mansion. Or you go around. Well, later on, we have a Talahuka Uti. No, Kulesu Ananogito. Okay, it's missing here. Sorry. But later on, we have it is here. Kulesu Ananogito, not greedily attached to families. That doesn't mean your own family. That means the families that you go around to beg for requisites. So these two, this also is to do with the simplicity. Okay? Now, easy to support and not burdensome to others as suparo, live simply and lightly. And next one, focus. One needs to have few duties. That doesn't mean that one should be refusing to take on responsibilities, because later on we will go into more detail about sako, capable. One needs to have few duties. That means you don't take on unnecessary duties. For example, if you can just live in a simple hut, don't try to build a huge monastery just because of your ambition. We know that nowadays, for example, there are actually fewer and fewer people going forth. So you need to know that we only have these few people. We don't need a huge monastery. So we will just spend the time instead cultivating our practice on samadhi and vipassana. You don't go about building huge constructs. So that's apakicho. And then the frugal way of life, talahuka uti, that's quite easily understood. One needs to be frugal and not having too many possessions. I think everybody knows that what one needs and what one wants are two different things. And if you have the principle in front of you, one needs to be frugal. You will think twice before you go about buying all those things that you don't need. Let's think about what we have in our garage, storage room, so many things that we haven't touched for maybe years, and we just keep them there. We just buy them, but maybe some things haven't even been opened. Yeah? But for a monastic, that's definitely a no-no. There is an analogy that one needs to be able to fly like a bird with just two wings and nothing more. With just the very basic requisites that one needs, like a ball and the ropes and maybe just the very, very essential stuff. But do not have like a whole truck of stuff when you want to move about, because these monks, they can, easily, they might need to go to different places, just like those 500 monks. If they all have a lot of stuff with them, it will be very difficult for them to move about, right? So one of the things that the Buddha wants us to pay attention to is do not feed your desire of wanting things. Don't get too many possessions. So keep life uncomplicated and guard time and energy. Time and energy. Okay? And then wise restraint. Peaceful and well-guarded faculties. Santindriyo. Indriyo. Indriyo is faculties. Sant is peaceful. Like Santa. Santa Claus. That means peaceful. Okay? Peaceful faculties. Well-guarded. Why well-guarded? In order to have our faculties, in order to have our faculties remain peaceful, guarding them is very, very important. Why? Have you ever noticed that sometimes we know that we don't like someone doing something, but when that action takes place in front of us, we can't help but taking a second look. Has that ever happened to any of you? Yes? And then we kind of feel the same disgusted feeling again. That is not guarding our indriyo, our faculty, our eye faculty. Or when sometimes we know that something irritates us or made us angry before, but we can't but keep thinking about it. And that faculty is mind faculty. That is also not guarding our faculty. Sometimes, we know in the society, in the world, people can have extramarital affairs. That is also from not guarding one's faculties. Yes? So not guarding one's faculties can actually lead to a lot of problems. And we need to pay attention to that. Not hearing things that we shouldn't be hearing. Sometimes we can't help with our curiosity. We just want to eardrop. And that is actually not very wise. That is not keeping our indriyo santa, not keeping our faculty peaceful, because that can lead to a lot of other complications. So we need to guard our faculties and make sure that it is they are peaceful. And judicious and prudent, one needs to be able to make wise decisions and being prudent. That's quite self-explanatory. And courteous, not forward, apagabo. That is quite similar to mudu. Okay, so if you are not courteous and always forward, there was another word, impudent. Yeah, impudent. Then one lacks the kind of humility required of a monastic, of a truly practicing monastic. So this is a very important quality. And attached to families and kin. This should be okay. So this is Salahuka Uti. Sorry, not Salahuka. This is Kulesu Ananagito. So the wrong word here. This is actually I just pointed out. It is this one, Kulesu Ananagito, not greedily attached to families. Okay. So the last one, that also belongs to the wise restraint. Unattached families and kin. Now, so move in the world with care, wisdom, and detachment. Oh, by the way, this bit, the commentary tells us if we get too close to families, we associate with them too much, then when things happen in their family, you might you might take delight with them and you might become sorrowful with them. And that way, one loses the meaning of becoming a monastic. The whole reason of renouncing is to renounce the mundane attachments, all the possessions, including our families, in order to stay focused on the practice. So if we go into the trouble of renouncing and become a monastic, why then getting attached to families? So the Buddha is actually very, very specific in all the things, all the aspects that a monastic needs to pay attention to. So move in the world with care, wisdom, and detachment. So this is the way of a forest-dwelling monk dedicated to the path. Okay? And that's the end of the 14 Karaniyas, the 14 what is all to be done, what is all to be cultivated. Now the 15th one is refining conduct. Once we have cultivated all these 14 virtues, one needs to further refine it, not even the smallest fault. And whose standard should we go by? The standard of the wise. So one should not commit even the slightest wrong that wise people might censure. Nachakudamacharekinchi yena vinyu pare upawateyum. Vinyu means wise people. This includes any bodily, verbal, or mental misconduct, even the smallest or most subtle fault. Initially, we need the wise ones to guide us, and then we will gradually develop the wisdom if we practice hard enough. Okay? So unwise people may blame what is blameless or magnify what is only slight. But the wise alone investigate, understand, and discern correctly. They are reliable in praising what is praiseworthy and censuring what is blameworthy. So the wise alone are the true standard. We need to remember that. So when we, in the Mangala Sutta, does anyone know the Mangala Sutta? The very first verse about Mangala Sutta is one should associate only with the wise one and stay away from the foolish people. So this is actually the very same effect as this. Of course, that doesn't mean we become contemptuous about or conceited and then look down upon the foolish ones. That simply means we do not seek advice from the foolish ones. Okay? So, why this matters? Because avoiding even subtle wrong builds a mind that is blameless, fearless, and at ease. Now, if we can compare our mind to a piece of cloth, if the cloth is full of black dots, is very, very dirty and filthy, like full of defilements, like our mind full of defilements, then we can't see even if we throw another bottle of ink onto that cloth, that darkness wouldn't change, wouldn't matter a thing. You wouldn't even be able to tell the difference. But as we practice more and more the cloth, as we cleanse the cloth more and more, like we cleanse our mind more and more by cultivating all these virtues, then that piece of cloth becomes cleaner and cleaner, whiter and whiter. And even the subtle wrong, like a little tiny drop of the ink, rather than a whole bottle of ink, will become very, very obvious because the color of the cloth has turned whiter, right? So yesterday, the person who asked me, why does this look so harsh? It doesn't. It will fall into the right place in time. You yourself will be the judge. You yourself will be the the critic of your own conduct. Okay? So you want to be blameless, fearless, and at ease. So when even a subtle wrong behavior happens, you will feel uneasy about it. Oh, just now I said something that I shouldn't have said. I feel a bit guilty. I feel a bit apologetic and sorry. I need to go to that person and apologize, make her feel better. And also resolve that next time I won't do the same thing. I will think twice. I will hold my tongue first before I speak those things. Or when I get angry, I know I'm never going to say anything that's really soft and gentle to other people, that sounds pleasant to other people. So at that time, I hold my tongue. So that is because you don't want to feel uneasy about your wrongdoing afterwards. You don't need to feel guilty afterwards because you haven't said it. At least you just kept it in your mind and you wait until later. When your mood has calmed down, you think of a better way to convey what you want to say. We actually don't want to upset each other. We want to resolve, we want to solve the problem. So don't think that throwing a tantrum, don't think that express our anger is the solution. Because like what we said, the Dharma, the reflection yesterday, anger hurts the person who harbors it in the very first place. It might not even hurt the other person until we express it. But that doesn't solve the problem. It actually makes the problem worse. And you will have to spend more and more time and effort in order to rectify that situation. So what if we don't even utter those harmful words, those hurtful words? So think twice, not even the slightest wrong, not even the slightest hurtful words should we say to other people. We look after other people's dignity. We don't want to shame them. We don't want to criticize them in front of the public. If we want to advise them, we find a very, very private space. We find a time when they feel at ease. We don't find a time when they come home just very late and really tired and exhausted, and we say something to them. And when they feel hungry, we say something that they will just immediately defend and refute. That's not the right attitude. So we need to, combine all these good qualities together in our practice, not even the slightest wrong. We ourselves can be our own critic. Okay? So it supports wise restraint, deepens meditation, and leads to the peaceful state. Beware of even the small fault, for the wise see what others overlook. God's mind refine conduct and walk in peace. Okay, so now we want to first further explore. Oh, we actually have overrun the time already by 5 minutes. So, um, so far, does any of you have any questions? No? Okay. So we will take a break and then we'll come back at 8:40. Is that all right? We'll resume our next session. Okay. So we will do the bowing and things after the end of the next session. Okay?
This is a particular Sutta.
Yes, Dharaniya. Yeah, Dharaniya, but you can have me get rid of this. Get rid of them. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very much for the teaching.
That's okay.
It's not just what you teach, but how you teach it. It shows that you feel much great joy in for teaching, for really teaching. And not only you should, but how you present it, you know. I think there's so much joy in
Yeah, I think another important thing we don't want to just accumulate knowledge. We really want to put it into practice in our daily life.
Yes. And we have so much knowledge, I mean, it's like education here, we have a computer, you know.
I'm just lose the template so easily. It's birds into words that are so common and hurtful to other people.
Just a thing of living, and you can voice something, something word. Mindfulness. I think if you don't already see talk about the basic there's nothing from just one simple word, mindfulness. And I think that's the key word.
You are interested in this, okay? IMEE. I'll type this out. Oh, it's 40 now. We okay. Okay, it is singing time. Some people have been looking forward to this. Okay, so it is 40 already, 41. Okay, so the first thing for this session, wow, I can see smiles on some people's faces. Okay, yeah, indeed. This is a very lovely song, so peaceful, right? It actually immediately put our mood onto the very Santampada. Okay, so metta chanting. I personally find that this is actually very good for us to really know whom we should send our loving kindness to. Okay, so without further ado, let's play the song. Is the pitch okay for everyone? Just now I played it, but we'll try it anyway, okay? If okay, well we'll just try it. May I be free from enmity and danger. May I be free from mental suffering. May I be free from physical suffering. May I take care of myself happily. May my parents, teacher, relatives and friends, fellow Dharma parents, be free from enmity and danger. Be free from mental suffering and free from physical suffering, and may they take care of themselves. May all meditators in this compound be free from enmity and danger, from mental suffering, from physical suffering. May they take care of themselves happily. May all monks in this compound, novice monks, laymen and laywomen, disciples, be free from enmity and danger. Men from mental suffering, from physical suffering, may they take care of themselves happily. May our donors of the four supports be free from enmity and danger, from mental suffering, from physical suffering. May they take care of themselves happily. May our guardian devas in this monastery, in this building, in this compound, may the guardian devas be free from enmity and danger, from mental suffering, from physical suffering. May they take care of themselves happily. May all beings, all breathing things, all creatures, all individuals, all personalities, all females, all males, all noble ones, all worldlings, all devas, all humans, all those in the four woeful planes. Be free from enmity and dangers. be free from mental suffering, from physical suffering. May they take care of themselves happily. May all beings be free from suffering. May whatever they have gained not be lost. All beings are owners of their own karma. In the eastern direction, the western direction, the northern direction, the southern direction, southeast, northwest, northeast, southwest. In the direction below, in the direction above. May all beings, all breathing things, all creatures, all individuals, all personalities, all females, all male, all noble ones, all worldlings, all devas, all human, all those in the four willful planes. Be free from enmity and danger, from mental suffering, from physical suffering. May they take care of themselves happily. May all beings be free from suffering. May whatever they have gained not be lost. All beings are owners of their own karma. As far as the highest plane of existence, to as far down as the lowest plane in the entire universe, whatever beings that move on earth, may they be free of mental suffering and enmity, and from physical suffering and danger. As far as the highest plane of existence, to as far down as the lowest planes in the entire universe, whatever beings that move on water, may they be free of mental suffering and enmity, and from physical suffering and danger. As far as the highest plane of existence, to as far down as the lowest plane in the entire universe, whatever beings that move in air, may they be free of mental suffering and enmity, and from physical suffering and danger. Okay, that pitch was too high. Do you want to just sing to a one that is -3 semitone? Do you want to sing? Let's try this one, -3. Much more acceptable. We won't sing the whole thing because that will take another 10 minutes. Ekimaya Disaya, Ajimaya Disaya, Uttaraya Disaya, Mekinaya Disaya, Puratimaya Disaya, Ajimaya Disaya, Uttaraya Disaya, Mekinaya Disaya, Ekimaya Disaya, Parimaya Disaya. Sabe, sada, sabe, kada, sabe, sabe, pukala, sabe, paringa, sabe, sabe, purisa, sabe, sabe, Maria, sabe, sabe, manusa, sabe, vidi, adika. Avera Pontu, Avia Pagina, Adika Pontu, Sukirano, Ari Harantu, Duka Buchantu, Yata, Vata Samplatiko, Pavika Chandu. Kamasa Udam Yawaka Kamacha Adoya Vichito Samadhya Kalesu Isana Paishotana Apya Vacha Viveraja Itu kacan lupada udah jawab kacan atau yang habis itu. What happened? Hidup kacang anugerah udang nyawa kacang atau nyawa bijiko namandacaka walesu isata kabicara apya baca beraca Itu kaca manupada. Okay, so we managed to chant the whole thing again. Another third time. We want to move on to the next one, which is no, not yet. It's 1:15. We finished at 1:15. So remember yesterday we chant the chanting version of Karaniya Metta Sutta, but today we have some new phases. So let's go back to this easier version. The chanting version is easier. It's more, it has more rhythm. Okay, it's more like verses. So do you still have the handout with you? If not, by all means, just look at the screen. Okay. Okay. Now feel free to make a move if you needed to. All right, okay. Oh, she's gone already. Right, okay. Now Metta Sutta, discourse on loving kindness. He who is skilled in the beneficial and wishes to attain that state of peace should train in this way. Capable and upright, thoroughly honest and truly straight, gentle and easy to instruct, humble and without arrogance, contented and easy to support, with few duties and a simple way of life, peaceful in faculties, discreet and wise, modest and not greedy when among families. Never do even the slightest thing that the wise would reprove. May all beings be happy and secure. May their hearts be filled with joy. Whatever being there may be, weak or strong, long or large, medium or short, subtle or calm, without exception, seen or unseen, dwelling far or near, those already born and those yet to come. May all beings be happy. Let none deceive another, nor despise anyone anywhere. Let none through anger or ill will wish suffering upon another. Just as a mother would protect her only child with her own life, even so, let one cultivate a boundless heart toward all beings. Let one cultivate a boundless heart toward the whole world, above, below, and all around, unobstructed, free from hatred and enmity. Whether standing, walking, sitting, or lying down, so long as one is awake, let one sustain this mindfulness. This is called the divine abiding here and now, not falling into wrong views, but virtuous and endowed with insight. Having removed craving for sensual pleasure, one will never again return to birth in a womb. This is a very beautiful sutta, and I hope that the meaning will gradually sink into your heart like it has mine. So, only 11 minutes before bedtime. So, let's move on to the next part of this session, which is meditation. Are you okay for a short sitting? Yeah? Okay. We will do a very brief body relaxation. So let us begin by settling into a comfortable sitting posture. Rest your hands naturally on your thighs. Gently close your eyes or lower your gaze. Take 3 slow, deep breaths. With each breath, allow the body to soften and begin to settle. Gently scan through the body from tailbone and buttocks. Relax, soften up, no tension. Then move upwards to lower back and abdomen and the waist around. Relax. Then chest and upper back, softening. Shoulder and neck, letting go. Face and head, relax. Arms and hands, legs and feet. Nothing to do, nothing to fix. Just allowing the body to become soft, open, and peaceful. Now expand awareness to the entire body at once. Feel the body as a single unified field of sensation. Notice the absence of unnecessary tension. Allow the whole body to rest in a natural ease. For a few moments, simply rest. Nothing to achieve, nothing to improve, nothing to become. Just this present ease, comfort, and quiet well-being. Let go of the past. Let go of thoughts about the future. Gently return awareness to this present moment and rest here. As we sit quietly, we begin to notice the possibility of the heart as it is when free from disturbance. Full and calm, still and serene, gentle and friendly, fearless and at ease. For a few moments, simply sense what this feels like. A heart free from hostility, a heart free from ill will, a heart at ease. Notice how light and at ease the heart feels when hostility is absent. Allow yourself to gently taste this quality of goodwill. And now we begin the core practice. Again, bring to mind a memory that evokes quiet happiness and peace. Choose that moment that is simple and wholesome. Not excitement, not stimulation, not sensory pleasure, but calm, contentment, and inner well-being. Gently reconnect with that feeling. Let it arise again in the body and mind. Pause here for a few moments and allow yourself to settle into this feeling. Now, holding this sense of peaceful happiness, stay connected with this gentle, contented feeling. And slowly mindfully, silently repeat each of the following 4 sentences. Allow their meaning to settle gently into the heart. May I be free from hostility. May I be free from hostility. Feel what it is like when hostility is absent. May I be free from hostility. May I be free from hostility. May I be free from ill will and the wish to harm. May I be free from ill will and the wish to harm. Feel what it is like when the heart is free from ill will and any wish to harm. May I be free from ill will and the wish to harm. May I be free from ill will and the wish to harm. May I be free from distress and suffering. May I be free from distress and suffering. Feel what it is like when heaviness and suffering soften. May I be free from distress and suffering. May I be free from distress and suffering. May I continue to dwell in happiness. May I continue to dwell in happiness. Feel the ease of simple, steady happiness. May I continue to dwell in happiness. May I continue to dwell in happiness. Okay, now gently open your eyes. It is 14 past. Now we can do the Patidana Gatha, which is sharing of merit. This is verse, the verse of sharing of merit. Now let's read this together. Itang me punyam atawakayang kaya wahang hotu. Itang me punyam nippanasa pacayo hotu mama punyapakang tapasatanang pajayami te sape me samang punyapakang lapantu. Now let's read this together. May this merit of mine lead to the destruction of the tames. May this merit of mine be a supporting condition for the realization of Nibbana. I share this merit with all beings. May they all equally partake of this merit. Okay, now we recite 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, so we are finished for today.